correct their own crimes, because the number of people that were killed by the Japanese militarism and how people were killed by the Japanese militarism are difficult even to imagine, but these facts have been recorded in history. What does Tokyo think about it? If Japanese journalists are not going to write about it, I think that Chinese journalists will report this proposal to the region, will bring it to the attention of the region. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. TV channel, Dunia News Pakistan, please.
I'm Shahid Guman, correspondent Dunia News Pakistan. First of all, happy birthday.
Спасибо большое. Спасибо.
Поздравляю день рождения.
Спасибо.
Happy birthday.
In advance.
Вас тоже с
I have one
наступающими.
question.
Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
With several countries expressing readiness to deploy peacekeeping forces to Palestine, in Russia considering the possibility of sending its own peacekeeping contingent under a United Nations or other international framework. What is Moscow's official position in this matter?
Как известно,
As you know, the deployment of the so-called peacekeeping stabilization forces in Palestine, its mandate should be identified by the resolution 2803. This is the classic peacekeeping mission that would be accountable to the UN Security Council. It won't be accountable to the UN Security Council. That's why Russia abstained from the vote on that UN Security Council resolution. And we would like to know that traditional Russian military have never been sent as part of peacekeeping forces of the United Nations. We provide assistance by sending military observers and their advisors, and by providing services and training of UN peacekeepers.
спасибо вам.
Thank you. China Media Corporation, please. Yes, Ms. Zakharova, here first of all we would like to join the words of previous colleagues. We would like to wish you all the best. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and let all your dreams come true. Thank you and wish you good health, and thank you. All the wishes, I wish you the same. Likewise. We have two questions talking about festivities 2025. It's coming to an end, and Russia and China has had developing its relations. So talking about the cooperation between China and Russia in 2025, what key words could be used to describe it and why? And next year we will mark the 25th anniversary of signing the Treaty on Good Neighborliness, Friendship and Cooperation between the two countries, and how do you think these relations are going to develop in the future?
Russia-China relations, and we talk about them regularly. There is no briefing that does not feature this topic. Is strong and dynamical development. They reflect the root interests of our states and one of the key factors of regional and global stability. The President of the Russian Federation, during a recent direct line, highly regarded highly the bilateral relations and noted the personal achievements of President of China Xi Jinping. I think that the words for our bilateral ties are reliability and trust, and I hope that in the next year, in 2026, will continue to be the key words for our relations. We cannot but mention the historic continuity, because Moscow and Beijing were the main global capitals that celebrated the 80 years of the victory over the German fascism and Japanese militarism. We look into future, and I'm sure that we will celebrate the upcoming 25 years of the agreement of good neighboring relations, friendship and cooperations. We want to continue strengthening our relations based on this document. You can be sure of that. I think that this exchange years of culture in Russia of China and in China of Russia, they just have been over, and they showed high interest, a lot of interest to the events. And I'm sure the next year will be marked with a lot of interesting events in different formats. Thank you very much. We have one more question. You talked about the Japanese militarism. We have one more question regarding this. The Kyoto agency said that one of the officials in charge of national security said that Tokyo needs nuclear weapons. This caused serious concerns, including for in China. But how does Russia evaluate such statements? What risks are there for the security in the region? We said that the abandoning by Japan of its neutral, non-nuclear statement will be the violation of the NPT treaty. This could exacerbate the situation in northeastern Asia and cause countermeasures from the countries that it threatens. Thank you very much. Thank you. Is Rita with us? Good afternoon, Madam Zakharova. I'm happy to join and congratulate you on the upcoming New Year and Christmas. And to you too. I congratulate you too. There's a nuance. I don't know what to tell you. In your country, Christmas has been already celebrated, or can I tell you that I congratulate you with all the holidays? There is no sound. Please, can you turn your mic off? Thank you very much for the congratulations. And I work in Moscow, and the Christmas is yet to come. Oh, then I congratulate you with the New Year holidays, with the upcoming holidays then. So what's your question? Here's the question. Every week the West say that Russia will be defeated unavoidably. In Monday, during the statement at the Valdai Discussion Club, Sergei Rabkov, the Deputy Foreign Minister of Russia, said that Russia is prepared to sign legal documents, that Russia does not have such plans. Recently, President of Russia Vladimir Putin said the same thing. In this regard, I would like to ask you, the Foreign Ministry, what is the form of such guarantees? Should the West do the similar guarantees to Moscow? Is the issue of mutual guarantees not to attack is something that is being discussed right now around the Ukrainian settlement? I will try to briefly and shortly answer this. The Russian Federation is consistently supports the strong architecture of European security based on the principles of equality, mutual respect of interest, and indivisibility of security. And those this architecture will be built like this. We have no doubt in this. There's no ifs in this. In this context, the statement of the Deputy Foreign Minister Ryabkov repeats the previously made statements by President Vladimir Putin and Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. We are prepared to legally write down the lack of aggressive plans regarding NATO and EU countries, and they are a natural continuation of our principled and consistent position. We cannot see this as something suiting the current situation. This is our consistent policy. We have done a lot for this throughout the whole situation, throughout history. If you forgot this, in late 2021, we worked out and suggested to discuss for joint work the relevant principles that would enshrine the guarantees of security. This was an invitation for a large-scale discussion. We sent them to Washington, to Brussels, to NATO in Brussels. In particular, we were prepared to work with Europeans on a wide range of issues. We sent them to the OSCE. We received strategic silence, if I may say. This is our unwavering position, and this statement will only follow up to it. Russia is prepared to sign a written, legally abiding document. It should be defined during negotiations, but this should be a full-fledged international legal act. Russia is open to serious dialogue on this pragmatic and equal basis, unlike many Western countries that favored the way of military and political and economic pressure and escalation. These countries bear full responsibility for the escalation and the lost possibilities in ensuring European and global security in general. As to the last part of your question, to do with, if I'm not mistaken, about negotiations or the track to do with the Ukrainian conflict. I asked if this is something that has been discussed around Ukraine. We said many times that these negotiations are taking place behind closed doors, so that they cannot be interfered with. So that's why we do not speak out about that. This is our principled position. This is we always share something that we can share, but this is negotiations for a reason, so that we can work at the negotiation table on the philosophy, ideas, main points of this issue, and not to go to the mic and talk, just speak. Thank you very much, Madam Zakharova. Thanks to you. Is Baltic News with us? Good afternoon, Madam Zakharova. I join congratulations of my colleagues. I wish you all the best. Here's my question. President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, taking stock of the year, outlined that the possible blockade of the Kaliningrad region can lead to a full-fledged conflict. The infliction of defeat on this Russian region is something that NATO speaks a lot. Can this be prevented? Unfortunately, the situation in the Baltic areas remains difficult. We see the growth of the military activity not far from the borders with the Kaliningrad region. the Europeans try to put more pressure on Russian operators. Some European politicians want to turn the Baltic Sea, and this is hilarious, into an internal sea of the alliance. They are crazy, insane. This is delirious about the possible blockade of the Kaliningrad region. They went as much as to talk about the seizure of the region. Together with the colleagues from the Defense Ministry of the Russian Federation and other relevant authorities, we have to consider certain risks and to work out the response measures. We will continue involving all the means available to us, first of all, of political and diplomatic character to ensure the interests of Russia in the Baltic area and to protect the Kaliningrad region of the Russian Federation and their people. Thank you. Is Anadolu with us? Good afternoon, Madam Zakharova. We join the congratulations. I congratulate you on your birthday. We wish you happiness, and we see you very happy. This means that everything is good in your life. We have a question about two questions. We want to ask about negotiations. Does Russia think that the last updated version of the peace negotiation is acceptable for Russia? We do not comment on this. I understand that you're very interested in this. It is very interesting, but this is it is done not for entertainment of the wider public, but this is hard work that should bring positive results. Thank you very much. Thanks to you. Is PTV Pakistan TV channel with us? Good afternoon, Madam Zakharova. So nice to see you. I would like to join my colleagues in congratulating you. There are a lot of people from the Western countries who congratulate you. I saw a lot of posts, and I was surprised by such love to you. I have the following question. 2025 became very important for Russia-Pakistan contacts. Can we already say that relations between Russia and Pakistan are being translated from the political dialogue to a more practice-oriented and resultative cooperation? What certain signals or steps can be made to reform this next year? You know, indeed, this year, the traditionally constructive dialogue between our countries was very intense. I can give you examples. For example, there were negotiations between President of Russia with Prime Minister of Pakistan in Tianjin. They took place in September, and there was a short meeting in Ashgabat in December. In May, there was a visit of the President of the Senate of Pakistan to Moscow, and in November, in Islamabad hosted the 10th session of Intergovernmental Commission on Trade and Economic and Scientific and Technological Cooperation. There are also regular contacts between relevant ministries. During these meetings, there were discussions about regional and global issues, and approaches to some of them are very close. There were also discussions about mutually the beneficial cooperation from metallurgy to agriculture, fertilizers, cooperation in pharmaceuticals, organization of transcontinental cargo route within the international north-south transport corridor. We hope that with the adoption of Program of Development of Trade and Economic Cooperation between Russia and Pakistan until 2030, our joint work will be even more systemic. Is news.ru with us? Good afternoon, Madam Zakharova. I congratulate you on your birthday, and I join the best wishes of my colleagues to you. I have the following question. How does Moscow see the possible attempts of from the US to exacerbate the situation around Ukraine? We see a growing number of such incidents. They are aimed not only against the interests of... I'm sorry, probably I'm not mistaken. Can you please repeat your question? How does Moscow evaluate the risk of the US attempting to synchronize the Putin pressure on Russia and China around? Yes, I'm right about this, because we do see these provocations. We do not traditionally comment on the abstract ideas about how this can go on. As to the attempts to undermine the strategic partnership between Russia and China, such attempts will be futile. Our bilateral cooperation is not on a political declaration. However, they do have huge importance. Our international interaction is backed up by the economic ties, trade turnover, prospects that are enshrined and agreed upon in joint contracts, documents, agreements. The aggressive environment only strengthened the understanding between our countries and an attendant that there is need to protect together the civilizational values in various spheres of our life. Together, it's more convenient and easier to do that. That is to respond to such an aggression, overt or covert, direct or indirect. Thank you very much. I congratulate you on the upcoming holidays. Is Match TV with us?
Так, наверное, не знаю.
Well, not there, probably. Lenta.ru, please. Yes, Lenta.ru is present. Hello, Ms. Zakharova. Congratulations on your birthday. We would like to wish you good health and patience in your difficult work. Yes, likewise. Likewise. Thank you. I have a question about Azerbaijan. On December 22nd, the president of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, missed an informal CIS summit in St. Petersburg due to the busy schedule, as it was explained by his administration. Did it have any effect on bilateral relations between Moscow and Baku, or the relations have remained unchanged since the summit-level meeting in October in Dushanbe? I would like to draw your attention to the fact that the Presidential Executive Office of the Russian Federation have already provided a detailed explanation about that. The Russian side understood why the President of Azerbaijan was unable to take part in the informal CIS summit in St. Petersburg due to the busy schedule of Ilham Aliyev. And yesterday, on December 24th, the Russian President Vladimir Putin had congratulated President of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev on his birthday and wished him every success, and they had a good telephone conversation. They have reaffirmed their mutual commitment to comprehensive strengthening of Russia-Azerbaijan alliance, and they have agreed to maintain their contacts. The conversation was overall friendly. Thank you. News front, please. Yes, hello, Ms. Zakharova. Allow me to join others and congratulations, and our congratulations to you. Wish you Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. If you allow, I would like to talk about bilateral relations between Russia and Bulgaria. On December 16th, on the website of the Legal Information of Russia, there was a governmental decree was published of the Russian Federation that Russia terminates the Russia-Bulgaria Treaty on Friendly Relations and Cooperation that was signed in 1992. What does it mean in political and diplomatic language, and how is it going to affect bilateral relations? How we can explain to the people of Bulgaria why such a treaty was terminated? Well, it seems to me that you are not providing an accurate reference, or you misinterpreted the text. You referred to the decree of the Russian government of December 16th, number 3810, and it has the following quotation: to allow the Russian Defense Ministry to terminate the following treaties: agreement between the Russian Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Defense of Bulgaria on bilateral cooperation, signed in Sofia on August 4th, 1992. So again, it doesn't mention the termination of, as you said, the Treaty of Friendly Relations and Cooperation. The governmental decree clearly provides information about the termination of agreement between defense ministries of Russia and Belarus, and I don't think it is appropriate to comment such a decision. I recommend to request the commentary of the Russian Defense Ministry or the Bulgarian Defense Ministry. Again, I would like, I kindly ask you to look at the exact wording of the document. Yes, thank you very much. It's a great concern for the Bulgarian population. Thank you. Verelk, please. Hello, Ms. Zakharova. As others, I wish you a happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. I have 3 questions for you. First, what does Russia think about the persecution of any opponents, like clergy of the Armenian Apostle Church is motivated by Armenian authorities with their connection to Russia and Russian intelligence services? And as Kaya Kalas stated, Armenian authorities requested their assistance, as well as to assist like they assisted Moldova in fighting against the possible Russian influence on Armenian elections. To help Armenia like Moldova, well, it's not going to be good, because it was really bad for Moldova when they are pitting people in Moldova against each other, when they are pitting generations against each other. What assistance could they provide? I can hardly imagine that assistance. We noticed the active work of the Armenian competent authorities, who are trying to find agents of Russian influence among all opposition politicians or oppositional public figures. So agents of the Russian influence, what criteria they use to find them among their population? Who are they? Those who support the development of bilateral relations between the two countries. Well, the Prime Minister Pashinyan is constantly talking about the need to develop relations with Russia. Those who respect Russia know its culture and history. Well, again, the Prime Minister Pashinyan is talking about his friendly attitude towards Russia. Again, I do not understand the criteria which are used by the Armenian intelligence services to identify agents of the Russian influence. Well, if they are eliminating opposition, presenting them as agents of the Russian influence, it's not good, because it's not friendly-like, it's not humane, and it's not democratic. And what does Russia have to do with it? Because, again, there is no proof, and I don't understand what criteria they are using. Because if they have these criteria, they don't provide any information about them. They should provide some proof. That's what we should pay attention to. They should provide facts, evidence, because everything else is a bad manifestation of nationalism, because we're talking about anti-Russian attitudes in Armenian newspapers, because they are trying to find enemies of a certain nationality or origin. The Armenian people who came through a difficult path, they know what national racism is about and racial discrimination is about. We hope that Armenian authorities would not support such attitudes. The use of faith for political purposes is absolutely unacceptable. And the same goes for the religious views. We adhere to the principle of non-interference in domestic affairs and respect for sovereignty of other states. At any negotiations with our Armenian colleagues, we cannot say the same thing about our Western politicians. The head of the European diplomacy, Kaja Kallas, openly offers Armenia the best European practices to organize elections that were tested in Moldova. What practices does she refer to? The whole world witnessed the political pressure, intimidation, blackmailing, providing credits, grants, tranches, etc. It has nothing to do with the genuine democracy, because all these actions weren't aimed at consolidating the society and realizing interests of Moldova. It was organized to pin people against each other. They have actually struck the people who wanted to live in unity and in harmony. These are anti-democratic mechanisms. We need to think whether Kaja Kallas and her team and structure that they represent, whether they pose a threat, because I think that they pose a threat. And another question for you, it's not a rhetorical question, but yet it's a question I need, and you need to find an answer. What good Kaja Kallas and the European Commission has done for Armenia and for the Armenian people? We can provide a list. We can take a paper and write how many factories were constructed and opened, how many tourist venues were created, how many hospitals were built, how many emergencies and man-made disasters were prevented and mitigated. So many people are listening to Kaja Kallas, and she teaches everyone not to speak with Russia, and she spreads Russophobia. Has she done anything good for Armenia? If yes, well, that's one conversation, but probably on this paper we should have a second column, and we should write what good Russia has done for Armenia, how many people Russia saved, how many things Russia has built, and how much money Russia invested into Armenia. And these figures will help you to find an answer to this question. And I have a second question for you. More than a month ago, you answered my question about Samvel Karapetyan, about the electric networks of Armenia. You said that we closely follow the situation around the electric networks of Armenia and Samvel Karapetyan. The protection of the Russian business abroad, as you know, is one of the priorities. Is there any progress in this issue apart from the consular access to Samvel Karapetyan? And what does Moscow think about the constant extension of arrest of Karapetyan on this far-fetched criminal charges? I think you should ask this question to Kai Kallas. Since she teaches Armenia how to live, you need to ask what she thinks about the arrest of Samvel Karapetyan. I think it will be quite interesting to know what she thinks about it. If she knows how to develop Armenia, I think you need to send a question to her. Since Samvel Karapetyan is the Russian citizen and Russian businessman, let her try answer the question, because I will answer the question myself. The protection of interests of Russian citizens and Russian business abroad is one of the priorities of our work as a ministry and as a country. We are organizing this work, taking into account laws and sovereignty of a foreign country, and we have provided consular access to Samvel Karapetyan, and we have done that through the Russian embassy in Yerevan. We continue to closely monitor his health condition and well-being, and make sure that all his rights are respected and observed. In contact with the officials of the Republic, we raised the issue of nationalization of the electronic networks of Armenia, and we offer to find together a way to settle the situation, taking into account the interests of Armenia and the Russian entrepreneurs, and we send them the messages that in such situation other businesses have become more cautious about the prospects of making business and projects in Armenia. The investment climate is a weak thing that need to be developed for years, and it could be destroyed immediately. Again, Russian and international businesses are cautious about implementing projects and doing business in Armenia. That's my answer to you. Thank you. And third question. Are there any details about the next regional format 3+3? In line with the agreement reached at the ministerial session of the Platform of Regional Cooperation 3+3 in Istanbul in October 2024, the next two meetings of foreign ministers should be organized in Armenia or Azerbaijan. We haven't received any official information about the place and day of this meeting, but I hope that soon we will have all the details from the organizers. We have noticed positive momentum in the dialogue between Yerevan and Baku. The linkages in the region are being resumed and re-established, and we welcome the process of unblocking the transport communications, including the supplies of the Russian grains to Armenia, with the transit through Azerbaijan. All of that confirms that format 3+3 is relevant. It pays attention to intensified cooperation in transportation, energy, and culture, and we would like to see Georgian colleagues at the meeting of this platform. Thank you. Radio Sputnik, Georgia, please. Hello, Ms. Zakharova. Such a logical transition to Georgia. And again, happy birthday. Wish you all the best. And wish you good mood in the new year. Yes, likewise. Thank you. Thank you. My question is, a new political movement, Neutral Georgia, was registered in our country. Its message is clear. This country should be outside any military blocs, including NATO. The neutrality is a taboo in Georgia because it's viewed by pro-Western forces as pro-Russian. What is your opinion about the possible neutral status of Georgia? You know? To be honest, I wouldn't like to comment on the Georgian parties because we believe it's a domestic affair of your country, and in contrast with the West, we do not interfere in these processes, we do not provoke coup d'etats, we do not change regimes, we do not introduce unilateral sanctions against other countries and their politicians in order to subdue them. As for NATO, we have repeatedly paid attention to its hostile policy towards Russia and its attempts to establish itself in new regions, including in Southern Caucasus, due to its aggressive plans rather than defensive ones, including the attempts to introduce its own views and standards to the detriment of interests and security of others. Its influence can only be destructive in the region, and it could be destructive for the countries of the region. And as for Georgia, goals of NATO are obvious: to draw it into dangerous geopolitical games, to push it towards new reckless schemes. That's why we are against turning Southern Caucasus into a new base of NATO and deployment of NATO forces there. And our position is supported in political and public circles of countries of the region who are real patriots of their country. They are not making provocative, demagogical statements, patriotic-like statements. They truly take into account interests of their own people. There is no consensus on the open door policy in NATO. Some European countries are critical about such course of the alliance, and moreover, Washington has serious doubts about the need to add new members to the bloc, and the new national security strategy of the United States, we have commented it already, should influence the endless expansion process, enlargement process of NATO, and we hope that Tbilisi will also pay attention to it. Thank you. Voice of the Fatherland, please. Yes, hello, Ms. Zakharova. I would like to take this opportunity and join others and wish you happy birthday. Wish you happy New Year. Let be the next year as fruitful and productive for our fatherland. Thank you.
The recent statement of President Trump about the sea blockade of Venezuela can harm the key nerve of the modern state, external trade. Foreign trade. The actions of the U.S. Are, according to the international law, are qualified as aggression. And the UN Convention on Aggression states it clearly. In terms of strategic planning in foreign policy, will Russia prevent such a scenario of transforming sea trade, for example, to strengthen energy autonomy and coming closer to China? The evaluations of the U.S. actions in terms of Latin American countries, first of all, of Venezuela, were given in the statement of the MFA of December 18th. We talked about it today as well. I'd like to note the statement of the permanent representative of the Russian Federation, Vasily Nebenzia, of December 23rd. We have to state that the U.S. continued to build up tensions around Venezuela that is friendly to us. A special concern is caused the unilateral character of the decisions made in Washington that create imminent risks to international of international air flights and navigation in case of ships are taken with Russian members of the crews on board. We have taken steps. They were legitimate, and we want the UN to confirm the legitimate character of of such actions. Such neo-colonial approach seems to be the ambitions, the methods that are understood by the so-called amendment of Trump to Monroe Doctrine. As you remember, it was enshrined in the recently published U.S. National Security Strategy. It requires ensuring stable energy markets, and the important part is energy resources available and the preparedness of the transport infrastructure. We refuse attempts to put pressure on sovereign countries in all interconnectedness, but also in energy sector. We understand that such a policy has neo-colonial aspiration to gain economic benefits through such political methods. This harms energy security, contributes to price volatility, undermining of supply chains. There is nothing bad in diversification of energy resources, but the alternatives should be institutionalized in some way. They should be provided on a competitive basis. They should make the situation better, not worse. And when the existing chains are being destroyed for the interests of one country or a group of countries, when competition is declared something archaic, outdated, and the force is used to settle such issues, this is not acceptable. Our cooperation in energy has nothing to do with the geopolitical situation. It is a result of perennial, trustworthy, effective trade and economic tie. We believe that bilateral relations are important with each partner countries. They have never been aimed against somebody else. We are not trying to achieve unilateral economic benefit. We express solidarity we want the harm from unilateral actions to be minimized. We expect that Trump's administration, the debate on peacekeeping and underlying efforts on this track, and are guided by rational thinking, won't make a tragic mistake and won't let the situation turn into a full-fledged armed conflict. The consequences of such situation would be unpredictable for the whole world. The fact that the Nobel Prize for Peace was given to certain people, and the U.S. claimed that they wanted to be the winners. These awards are given not in a just way, but this should be true, but the people should stay true to peacekeeping. People should strive for this. I mean, all those who are in power, who stay in power, in pursuing the international policy and the international arena. Unjust decisions shouldn't make people think that this is okay. People should strive for maintaining peace. Thank you very much. And I have one more question. Yes, please. At the recent presidential elections in Chile, a conservative candidate won, Antonio Costa. He is critical of Russia. This is characteristic for the conservative forces. He used to support anti-Russian resolutions at the international platforms. He criticized the actions of Moscow in the conflict, in the context of the Ukrainian conflict. What do you think about the relations between Russia and Chile at this particular stage? How are they going to develop after the recent presidential elections in Chile? I hope that Chile but this was not the last elections in the Chile, only the latest. I cannot add anything new to the commentary of December 18th during our briefing. Thank you. Thanks to you. Is Almaydin with us? Good afternoon, Maria Zakharova. I congratulate you on your birthday, of course. I wish you health, peace, and success. I think that this is relevant for the whole world. Thank you. We know that the alumni of the Soviet and Russian universities living abroad play a significant role in supporting Russia and its positions. Are there mechanisms or programs in Russia to consolidate them in order to promote interests of Russia in the countries where these people live? Our country give huge importance to interaction with foreign alumni of Soviet and Russian universities. We believe that they are the face of our, essentially, our external reflection, the external face of our education abroad. They are providers of our culture. And they don't do this by force. They do it the way they feel this. Amid the hybrid war started by the Western countries against our country, against common sense, in my opinion, it is the alumni that, based on their personal experience of living and learning in Russia, shape the truthful image of our country. They do it voluntarily and fearlessly. They understand. They can be subjugated to pressure and sanctions and prosecution. We provide necessary support to Russian University of Friendship of Nations, named after Patrice Lumumba. It ensures the non-profit partnership, International Coordination Council of the Alumni of the universities. It includes some 70 foreign associations of alumni. We welcome the projects, branches of Science Ministry of Russia that work with foreign possible students and undergraduate and postgraduate students on the premises of Russian universities, including the MGIMO University. We actively interact with the Global Association of Alumni. Moscow hosted an international forum of foreign alumni of Soviet and Russian universities that brought together some 100 foreigners from 40 countries. Following it, a resolution was adopted with a number of relevant new approaches for developing interaction with alumni. We have plans for 2026. I can share them with you. We would like to hold even a bigger event to consolidate alumni. The Russian MFA provides support to the Science Ministry of Russia, Education Ministry of Russia, to develop program ambassadors of Russian education and science. The participants of the program are the best alumni of Russian universities. Thanks to you, I congratulate you on the holidays. Is author E with us? Yes, good afternoon, Madam Zakharova. I join all the warmest, all the best congratulations of my colleagues to you. On behalf of our team, I would like to raise a glass of champagne for your energy, for your stamina. Same here, thank you. We have two questions. Russia in BRICS, just a second. In BRICS, Russia supports consistently the expanded the use of national currencies and the establishment of its own settlement infrastructure. What's the strategic goal of Moscow? The total substitution of the dollar in BRICS settlement, or the establishment of a parallel infrastructure that would minimize the vulnerabilities of Russia and its partners in the face of the secondary sanctions of the West? The leadership of our country, MFA and finance ministries said many times that the main focus of BRICS member states is aimed at creating conditions to use national currencies in mutual settlements. It is a difficult issue and will take some time. However, all the countries of the associations are set to achieve practical results and are prepared to build up interaction in this sphere. I'd like to underline that BRICS, while doing this, does not oppose the dollar. This was underlined many times at various levels. The abandoning of the American currency is prompted by the Western illegitimate and politicized restrictions. De-dollarization is an objective global trend, not because someone has waged anti-US underfloor activities and work. People have to survive. People have to reestablish ties, the logistics and payment chains. De-dollarization is a consequence of growing distrust created by the Western countries to this mechanism. In this regard, not only BRICS members, but some other countries want to decrease the dependency on the US dollar and to find an alternative to this currency. All the states of BRICS wants results in the financial sphere, and it was reflected in the declarations of the leaders adopted following the summits in Kazan and Rio de Janeiro. The documents enshrined the sentiment of the BRICS participants to promote initiatives to create mechanisms of trans-border payments, joint settlements, infrastructure. We expect that this work will be continued in 2026 under the auspices of the Indian chairmanship. The President of Russia said many times that our country does not strive to substitute all international settlements and never refuse to use it. At the same time, in 2022, the leading Russian banks were subject to illegal restrictive measures from the collective West, and overnight were cut off from the finance infrastructure, the SWIFT system in particular, to create its foreign economic ties. The Russian had to create new settlement schemes and instruments. Amid this, more countries from the global majority work to strengthen its finance sovereignty. They create a network of direct correspondence ties, circumventing mediator banks. They take various measures to achieve that. BRICS member states actively learn how to use these instruments, building new finance infrastructure and in trade and economic and investment ties, disregarding the foreign and external pressure. A number of measures to strengthen this cooperation was discussed during the Kazan summit in 2024. We continue expert contacts about trans-border payment initiatives, an e-system of inter-depository interaction, BRICS Clear, as well as specialized mechanism BRICS Reinsurance. This will help attract capital to the countries of the Global South. Thank you very much. And another question. Does Russia see an option in gradual substitution to a paralyzed OSCE at the expense of building up practical agenda in SCO, OSCE, Eurasian Economic Union, in military dialogue, cybersecurity, and counterterrorism? The OSCE has never dealt with issues of Eurasian security. It should have decreased the level of military and political tensions in the Euro-Atlantics and ensure equality and indivisibility of security for all countries, all member states. The OSCE did not succeed, and this is to put it mildly. We explained the reasons why this was not possible. However, it could have implemented all Eurasian security architecture that would reflect the new polycentric world order. The global minority that for some reason believes to be a garden and the rest of the world to be a jungle, they don't understand they are the global minority, and they want to develop extensively, and we are tired of it. It's not only us, it's the global majority in general. If there are no positive examples, not because we rewrite history or attempt to blur these examples, but there are no such examples. Probably to call themselves leaders and to claim this role is there's no sense to do that until they rectify their mistakes and make plans for the future. Given this work, the President of Russia proposed an initiative It provides for a system of bilateral and multilateral guarantees of collective security on the basis of equality and the divisibility of security. One of the elements of the initiative is the intensified dialogue through multilateral organizations of Eurasia, as well as strengthening horizontal ties between them.
Thank you very much. Happy birthday again. Wish you Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and wish peace for all of us. Thank you. Likewise, wish you the same. Happy New Year to you too. Embassy Life. Hello, Ms. Zakharova. Hello, colleagues. Embassy Life. Before I go to my questions, allow me to wish you a happy birthday, Ms. Zakharova. We congratulate you with all our heart. We hope that this birthday will become a new stage in your life, or will provide a new source of inspiration. Wish you good health, prosperity, well-being, and confidence in the future. Happy New Year. Wish you all the best. Make all your dreams come true. Thank you. And take into account the New Year and Christmas festivities and difficult international relations, what could you wish to ordinary Russians and ordinary citizens of the European Union? Does the Russian Foreign Ministry has a New Year tree with wishes to world politics? What wish would you pick up? Let's start with the New Year tree, as it's the previous briefing and the previous briefing before the New Year last year. We have a special project. It's a project. This New Year tree is a part of a great festival. It's a part of the 7th International Festival in New Year trees. This project is called the New Year Tree of Peace and Friendship, which is put in place in the Russian Foreign Ministry for more than 1 year. Our department and the movement for gifted children and youth, Synergy of Talents, have organized a festival of such New Year trees. In this room you see a large New Year tree. Yes, that's a beautiful one. And in the atrium you would see dozens of New Year trees. We will show you them. We'll certainly show them, and we'll make a special report in our social media accounts. It's a beautiful New Year tree. In the center, of atrium, you will see a 5-meter long New Year tree, which is surrounded by 23-meter artificial trees, which is decorated by toys made by children of our compatriots living abroad from 86 countries of the world, as well as by children from 3 federal cities, 9 krais, 20 republics, 43 regions of the Russian Federation, and historical regions of our country. Each New Year tree has its own history and name, like, for example, 100 years of public diplomacy, which is decorated by handmade toys made by children of Russian compatriots living in Belarus, Iran, Iraq, Cote d'Ivoire, Cambodia, Kyrgyzstan, Cyprus, Malta, the Russian Federation, Syria, Turkmenistan, Turkey, Uzbekistan. There is a New Year tree, Symphony of Victory, which reflects the respect that children expressed to the military, to those who protect our fatherland. We have a New Year art tech, which celebrates 100 years of its establishment, and it is decorated with toys made by children of compatriots living in Australia, Argentina, Bolivia, Venezuela, Canada, Colombia. We have another Christmas tree called Diplomat, a Guardian of Peace, that represents a nomination that children proposed to introduce in 2025. It is decorated by toys made by children from Armenia, Bangladesh, Israel, Indonesia, Lebanon, Malaysia. We have also a New Year tree of heroes of Soviet cartoons, a New Year tree of Russian folk crafts, a New Year tree of fairy tales, the New Year tree of magic balls, and a New Year tree of a Christmas star. And we have another festival in which we received a submission sent by children where they have drawn a New Year greeting card. And as for the wishes, first I would like to start with the results of the work carried out by the department. And to not waste your time, I will just provide several figures of our work. TASS has made all the calculations, how many briefings we organized, how long these briefings were. We liked it, and we have decided to provide information for you. We have organized 46 briefings in 2025. 5 of them were held off-site in Saransk, in the press tour for foreign correspondents in Makhachkala, on the sidelines of the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok, on the sidelines of the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, and in the Tauride Palace, on the sidelines of the International Conference, the Great Patriotic War, and the collective memory of the CIS peoples, 80th anniversary of victory in St. Petersburg. At briefings, you asked 1,017 questions, and you received answers to them from us. So our briefings were 115 hours and 8 minutes in total, without taking into account the current briefing that we are holding right now. So we're talking about 5 days of work without any pause. Well, that's not the limit if we talk about briefings, but overall, we have quite an interesting statistics and results of our work, but we will tell you in a separate material. And now, let's go to the congratulations and wishes. In several days, we will celebrate the New Year 2026. The New Year and Christmas are a special time on our planet when we take stock of the year that is about to end, when we have hopes for the future. It is a time when we appreciate our loved ones' kindness and mutual support. It's the time when we always have hopes for the best. And to take into account the experience of previous years, I'm talking about the hope for peace. I would like to speak to the journalist community and to thank its representatives for the joint fruitful work. The Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs is always open to constructive cooperation. Your journalist mission is of special importance today, and there is no exaggeration to that. Due to the relentless attempts to aggressively impose post-truth, it is important to stay committed to high standards of journalist ethics, no matter what, as well as to help spread accurate information and to fight against fakes. I would like to note the resilience of Russian mass media. Despite unprecedented pressure abroad, you continue to do your job honestly and decently. You are constantly dealing with pressure abroad. You are put on extremist lists, websites, sanctions lists. You're killed, you're captured, but still you're doing your job. You continue to perform your professional duty honestly and decently, as I have already told you. I would like to highlight your special contribution to the coverage of the 80th anniversary of Great Victory for preserving this eternal flame of the act of heroism that has marked 80 years since it was completed. You truly preserve what was left to us, these sacred scrolls which provide the truth of our life. With your honest and meticulous work, which is sometimes dangerous for your life, you help to promote an objective image of Russia, our state, our civilization with 1,000 years of history. You help to preserve and to strengthen traditional Russian spiritual and moral values. But our values are a part of world civilizational values. The wishes and aspirations of Russian citizens are linked to the victory, to peace today, for the victory over evil and prevention of neo-Nazism, fascism, racism, xenophobia. Do not let them to raise their ugly head, the head of this horrible hydra. Our military on the front lines in the area of the special military operation approaching the victory with every day, and they will continue to perform their military duty during holidays. They are our true heroes who have taken on a great military mission to protect Russia and the entire world, to provide our people and the world community with strong guarantees of peace and security. I would like to wish them strength, patience, faith, and hope and health. Christmas is celebrated in different countries in different ways, but it continues to be a holiday with special meaning. It's a symbol of rejuvenation, hope, and faith in the future and the best. It's one of the most favorite, long-awaited Christian holidays that is respected by other world religions, like we respect other holidays of other world religions. It brings together millions of people around the ideals of kindness, mercy, and justice. These eternal values play an important role in the history of our countries, and for centuries they serve as a robust spiritual, moral pillar of the Russian society, and not only the Russian society. On behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation, on behalf of the Department of Information and Press Department, well, we are all one family. On my personal behalf, I would like to wish our citizens, our compatriots living abroad, our journalists, foreign journalists, good health, strong, limitless energy, every success in your endeavors. We'll see you at the press conference of Sergei Lavrov in January 2026, and we will listen to the main aspects of foreign policy. Wish you Happy New Year. Merry Christmas if you're celebrating it today. Wish you all the best. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. Again, wishing you all the best. Thank you. See you next time. See you next year in 2026. Goodbye.